On August 25, 1994, SNK debuted their newest fighting game franchise in Japanese arcades, The King of Fighters 94. Though SNK envisioned the game as a crossover of several classic titles, they sought out a new face to lead this new era. Seeing that big names such as Terry Bogard and Ryo Sakazaki appeal to more of an older audience, SNK was looking to pull in a younger audience. Enter Kyo Kusanagi. With his blend of stylish designs and a fun and unique moveset that switched up and improved over time, the Scion of the Flame quickly got popular with fans. While he may have not eclipsed Terry in terms of overall popularity, Kyo has definitely proven to be one of the greatest and coolest protagonists in fighting game history. These are 10 fascinating facts about Kyo Kusanagi. Number 1, a surprising comparison. So if I were to ask you to compare Kyo Kusanagi to another fighting game character, who's the first character that comes to your mind? I can confidently say a good portion of you may say Ryu. They both have a fireball, dragon punch, and a forward advancing move, they both wear headbands, they're both the faces of their respective franchises. There's quite a lot they have in common. Looking at the title of this entry, you're probably wondering, what's so surprising about that? The answer is, well, nothing. What is a tad bit surprising is a comparison made by a certain gaming journalist. During an interview covering Street Fighter IV with producer Yoshinori Ono, Brendan Sheffield of Gamasutra compared a different Street Fighter character to Kyo. He saw said character as somewhat of a counter to Shoto's due to their movement in the arc of their jumps. That character? El Fuerte. Ono was highly impressed that Sheffield noticed certain characters were given jump arcs specifically to clear projectiles. However, don't let that distract you from the fact that someone likened Kyo Kusanagi to a crazy, fast-footed luchador. Now that I think about it, both of them were infamous for being terrible at certain things. Fuerte's cooking and Kyo's poetry. Yeesh. Number 2, SNK sought to contrast him from their old-school fighting game protagonists. Aside from just wanting a fresh new face for their fresh new franchise, SNK desired for Kyo to be different from the old-school characters. Most of said characters were older and built like bodybuilders. Kyo definitely stood out considering 1. He had a more youthful look, and 2. He has a more athletic, lean build rather than a muscular one. His teammates compliment him as Benimaru is more agile and Goro Daimon is more tanky. There are additional elements that inspire Team Japan's composition, more on that a little bit later. Number 3, his original design greatly resembles a protagonist from an SNK beat-em-up. Coincidence? Or intentional? While it has never been officially confirmed, many SNK fans have their minds already made up that it's the latter. Sure, you can't plagiarize yourself, but recycling concepts usually doesn't fly in the eyes of fans. One look at Ricky Jones on the cover of the classic SNK beat-em-up Mutation Nation and yeah. The crazy thing is Kyo's design would closely resemble Ricky's in later KOF games, with another striker Kyo arguably being the closest contender. Despite how he looks on the cover, Ricky's hair is actually red in-game. While I don't recall Kyo ever being a ginger, I do recall a Kyo lookalike that did have red hair. Number 4, he was almost excluded from KOF 99. Boy, KOF 99 was almost a chopping block for a chunk of SNK's top characters. As we learned in the previous video in this series, Terry was almost killed off in said game in Team Fatal Fury's ending. Initially, Kyo and his rival Iori were also brought to the chopping block as they were almost cut from the roster. Of course, there is more to this than just simply removing the most popular characters. KOF 99 was the genesis of the Nest saga. SNK initially sought to remove many of the series' big-name characters to hyper-focus on pushing the arc's protagonist, K-Dash. SNK ultimately balked at the plan, and Kyo and Iori were made secret solo entry characters instead. Number 5, the amazing story of Shio Kirishima. Rejected ideas produced during early character design and development have one of several different fates. On one hand, they end up left on the cutting room floor to be forgotten, at least until they release one of those collector's edition art books. On the other hand, they can sometimes find themselves being incorporated into a medium in some other form or capacity. If you recall, in the fascinating facts about my video, the creators were over halfway done with Ninja Master before they gave up on him. Rather than simply scrapping him, he was merged with an idol character to create SNK's most popular kunoichi. The story of Kyo's early development and creation contains something just as interesting. For starters, the creators didn't immediately arrive at the name Kyo Kusanagi. He was initially named Shio Kirishima. Also, instead of the more modern school outfit or the leather jacket blue jeans combo he's known for now, Sho, wore traditional martial arts clothing. SNK eventually arrived at the name Kyo as they wanted to give the character a stronger connection to the Yamata no Orochi legend. Unlike most Proto characters, this wasn't the end for Sho. He would make his debut in KOF 99 Evolution as a striker. He would appear as a striker once more in KOF 2000, specifically for the very character who evolved from him, Kyo Kusanagi. Number 6, SNK really loves Akira. Well, that in and of itself may not be too surprising. Akira is a highly influential, universally acclaimed franchise, with the 1988 film being considered one of the greatest animated movies of all time. This reason alone isn't why SNK's love for Akira isn't so shocking. I'm sure you already know what I'm gonna talk about. Oh, K49, aka that blatantly obvious Tetsuo Shima recolor that, believe it or not, has quite a fan base. I feel for them, as SNK not only felt the need to immediately replace him, but clearly do not want to even acknowledge his existence anymore. Thankfully, SNK was able to show their love for Akira without provoking lawsuits when it came to Kyo. While still in his show phase, he was designed with Akira main protagonist Shotaro Kaneda as an inspiration. Number 7, the other anime and manga that influenced his design. One reason Kyo turned out to be such a great character could be attributed to his many iconic influences. As if Akira wasn't enough, 2 other classic manga would also inspire Kyo's design. Coincidentally, one of said series includes a character named Akira Fudo to be exact. Shinichi Morioka, one of Kyo's creators, confirms the Devilman protagonist served as an inspiration for some of his darker traits. According to Morioka, these dark traits initially made it difficult to design Kyo as a heroic character. The other character is Jo Yabuki, the main protagonist of Ashita no Jo, which is considered one of the most popular and influential manga of all time. Jo and Kyo do facially favor each other a bit, and are both gold-hearted pretty boy bruiser jerks. There's yet another manga that not only inspired Kyo's design, but also his Team Japan teammates Benimaru and Goro. The mecha manga Getter Robo's main protagonists are also a trio. Ryoma Nagare is fiery and hot-blooded, Jin is edgy, daring, and cynical, and Musashi Tomoe is a happy-go-lucky giant. Additionally, the trio's personalities inspire the elements assigned to each Team Japan member. Number 8, his popularity with female cosplayers resulted in a character's creation. Must feel great to be a fan that's involved with the creation of a character. You all know about Najed. Shoutouts to Mushail Al-Barak for creating such a cool character. Here's to hoping she comes back in 15. Another instance of fans being involved with the creation of KOF characters occurred back in 2000. SNK clearly knew about the popularity of Kyo among female cosplayers and decided to tip their hat to them with the introduction of cosplayer Kyoko. The second striker to be mentioned on here, Kyoko is a Kyo fangirl who attempts to mimic his moves and really hopes to meet him one day. In KOF 2000, she serves as the striker for the other high-ranking official in the Kyo Kusanagi fan club, Shingo Yabuki. Excluding cameos, we wouldn't see Kyoko again until SVC Chaos whenever Kyo gets hit with Dimitri's Midnight Bliss. Seeing that Kyoko had already debuted before SVC, you could say this was the inverse of what occurred with Lady Terry. Number 9, his clones were created due to staff indecision. Indecision over what, you ask? I'll give you a hint. It begins with school and ends in forms. If you didn't answer school referral forms, well then congratulations, you just averted that trap. Of course. The answer is school uniforms. Turns out, even after redesigning him for KOF 99, some designers wanted Kyo to return to his school uniform. The crew was divided over which school uniform to use. So they did what everybody does when faced with a 50-50 situation. Send in the clones! Thus, Kyo number 1 and number 2 were born! With their I'll stop. Anyways, the staff ran into this same issue again en route to KOF 2002. When Kyo clone seemed nice, clone him thrice. And thus, we got Kusanagi. Number 10, he outgrew one of his former voice actors. Wow, that is weird. Usually I would think it goes the other way around. Nevertheless, it is true though. Masahiro Nanaka voiced Kyo in the KOF series from 94 to 13. Bonus fact, His final time voicing Kyo was actually in Neo Geo Heroes Ultimate Shooting, which was released 15 days after 13. Many voice actors and actresses attempt to establish some kind of connection with their characters. It's one of the most effective ways to become that character. Nanaka had a pretty interesting connection with Kyo. He actually related to the KOF protagonist when he was young and reckless until he grew up. Due to this, he expressed difficulty accepting a more mature Kyo on the same level as before. Regardless, Nanaka was a longtime fan of KOF and saw his opportunity to play Kyo for so long as an honor. While the current voice of Kyo, Tamaki Maeno, has garnered a generally positive fan reception, longtime hardcore KOF fans will never forget the work of Masahiro Nanaka. My personal favorite work of his is for one of my favorite Samurai Showdown characters, Basarda the Executioner. Thank you so much, Nanaka-san. And that is it for this video. Do you know any other cool facts about Kyo? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos in the future. And as always, peep the pinned comment below to vote on the next character we cover in Fascinating Facts about KOF characters. Take care, be safe out there, see ya.